Hey yo, what up, fans of the fucking sport? It's Lamech with selahsportstv back at it again. Cheer. Well, we're 1 week closer to Terence Bud Crawford versus Israil Madrimov. Huge fight coming up at 154 for the WBA title. Um, this is a fight brought to us by Mr. Turkey Al Sheikh. Uh, neither guy was in anybody's plans, even though they're the top two guys in 154, I would say. Now, I could be jumping the gun with Crawford because it's true. Like, none of us have seen him fight there. But the guy has moved up several weight classes. Again, that's not always a telltale sign of future success, because the more weight classes you go up, ideally the tougher it's gonna get for you, right? But let's talk about this fight. I personally think this was Terence Crawford's toughest challenge. He's never fought a guy this big. Like he did fight Jeff Horn. He fought Mean Machine, two bigger guys, but I think this guy's even bigger than them. I think Madrimov could fight at 168 if he chose to. Now, how good would he be up there? I'm not sure. How good would he be at 160? I think he'd be decent. I think he'd be pretty good at 160. In fact, I probably go as far to say 160 is probably his where he's gonna have most of his fights, right? But for now, he's on 154, and he's standing right in front of Terence Crawford. Very, very interesting fight. I tell you what, Terence Crawford could have chosen a lot more easier opponents than this guy, right? Could have chosen a lot more easier opponents than Israil Madrimov. Now, I get it. Madrimov has 10 fights, 11 fights, something like that. Not a whole lot of professional experience, but quite a bit of amateur experience, right? He's not green in the ring. He's fought pretty much everybody. Well, in terms of styles. I doubt there's a style that he hasn't faced with as many amateur fights as he has. I want to say, I don't want to get the number wrong, but I want to say he has something like 200-300 amateur fights. Yeah, he's one of them. So when you fighting that many guys, you've seen a lot of the styles. Like, I can't imagine you having 200, 300 fights and you haven't faced the counterpuncher. You haven't faced the pressure guy or a pure boxer, right? Or, boxer puncher with soft pressure type shit. Like, I'm pretty sure he's faced it all. So what I'm doing here is qualifying this guy, because I don't want to hear no excuses. I don't want to hear, he was too young and who was he and he wasn't this and he wasn't that. No, the guy is good. He's a champion, right? He with a bunch of amateur experience, right? He's not green. He's definitely on the level. Now, is he on Bud Crawford's level? That remains to be seen. We'll find out. We got to find out if Bud Crawford is on Israil Madrimov's level. Israil Madrimov is the sitting 154 WBA champion. We got to find out if Terence Crawford can bring what he brought to 147 and 140 and 135, if he can bring that shit up there to 154. That's what we got to see. Right? I tell you what, here's my takeaways, my early takeaways. I don't think this is going to be a prediction fight because we're still over a month out, or not quite a month out, right? We're still, I want to say maybe 2 or 3 weeks away. So yeah, it won't be a prediction video, but you will be able to glean some things from what I lay out here. Going into this fight, Terence Crawford has to be he has to have his athleticism. I get it. He's 36, pushing 37. If he has lost a step, if he's gotten slower, if his feet have gotten slower, his hands have gotten slower, if he's fallen off, right? I shouldn't say falling off. I don't think he fell off. Like we just saw him last year. If he's taking like a huge step back though, be it due to the weight, be it due to the age, or be it due to inactivity, it doesn't matter. If anything is lacking on fight night, he's going to be in for a tough road. I already foresee this being probably Crawford's toughest fight yet, right? Um, not because of anything wrong with Crawford or not any of the shit that I mentioned before. I don't think he's falling off. I don't think the age is. I don't think he's aging out. Right. I think he takes great care of himself. You know, and it seems like the guy is getting stronger. I don't think it's due to anything like that. I just think this guy Madrimov is really good. Right. I think it's good, and it could be a coming out party for him. It very well could be, right? And Madrimov doesn't have to win in order for this to be a coming out party for him. We know that. See, Yishak Cruz, right? The guy basically became a name by losing. You know, so yeah, Israil Madrimov, he can actually elevate his stock a lot with a good performance in this fight. Does he have enough to win? That remains to be seen. We'll see, and we'll talk about that definitely going forward. But I will say this: Crawford has to be the more athletic guy, the quicker guy. Like if he's not the quicker guy in this fight, if he's not the more twitchy guy in this fight, he might be he might be in big trouble. Why do I say that? Because Israil Madrimov is very strong, very fast, right? He has a leaping left hook that he likes to use, um, kind of similar to Pacquiao. Um, he might want to be careful with that in this fight because Crawford, once he gets the timing and he gets your traits and everything, and if that's something that he can get timed, yeah, he could put you to sleep with a well timed counter on that leaping left hook that he likes to use. You know, that could definitely come back to haunt him. But we'll see what happens. Um, I know a lot of you guys are probably like, why the hell are you talking about this fight? You got a Boots Ennis fight coming up. Well, yeah, I get it. And all right, so let's talk about Boots Ennis real quick. I like the fight. I like the David Avanesyan fight, even though when Bud Crawford took David Avanesyan fight, 2 years ago, the Boots camp was the ones making the most noise, saying, "Why are you fighting this guy? Why are you fighting this guy?" Right here we are 2 years later. A lot of the Boots comments, the comments coming out of that whole camp, haven't aged well. Right? They was talking about being so loyal to Showtime, and Showtime ain't like 2 years later. They not even in the business no more. You being loyal to a network that isn't even in boxing anymore. Now you in a whole new network. You had a whole new network fighting a guy that Bud Crawford fought 2 years ago. But when he fought him, you had a problem with him. Now you fighting the guy. But here's what I'll say about David Avanesyan. Very good fighter. He's the type of fighter you have to be switched on 100%, right? Because the guy can punch. The guy can punch, and that's what he's coming to do. He's coming to punch. David Avanesyan is not a mover. He's not somebody who's going to surprise you or be tricky in the ring. He's not going to do any of that. You know, he's going to step right to you and he has decent upper body movement. I'll give him that. But nothing tricky, right? He's going to stand right in front of Boots Ennis and try to get his shots off. As for Boots Ennis, he has to be switched on. Like I said, Avanesyan is the type of guy, he can punch. He can punch good enough to get you hurt and to kind of change the fight for you and for himself, right? So You gotta be switched on. As for prediction, I gotta say that I see Boots as being switched on. Though I will say, I will throw out this caveat. Like, Boots is fighting in Philly, and you know how I feel about these hometown fights. I don't think these hometown fights are a good idea, a great idea, especially, and I definitely don't think it's a great idea for a guy like Boots, right? Boots has been around. He's been around for a while. Um, he's been around for a while. Uh, and he's never had a fight in Philadelphia. Now it's like you got a new contract. You over there with the zone, Matchroom the zone, and you got this hometown fight. Everybody's asking for tickets. Everybody's, wants access. Boots better be switched on for David Avanesyan. David Avanesyan is already a replacement fighter, right? This is a very, very dangerous fight for Boots Ennis. Very dangerous. But with all the, like, when I pick Boots Ennis, I'm picking him based on him being switched on, right? Based on him not being distracted, and based on David Avanesyan's style. That's what I'm picking. Now, David, I already told you, if you're not switched on, if you're not paying attention, if you're in there focused on things outside of the ring, David Avanesyan can absolutely shock the world with this fight. Absolutely. But I try not to, pick fights based off of, things like that. Assuming that people aren't focused and shit like that. I'm not, unless I see something. Now, if I see something, they're doing a bunch of interviews and shit like that and talking crazy, then yeah, I might assume that. I either assume that they're not focused, or due to recent events, we can assume that when a person start talking all crazy and missing weight, we can just assume that they are on PEDs, right? But yeah, we'll see. But as for Terence Crawford and Israil Madrimov, I like these guys. This is a huge step up fight for both guys. I mean, I said it was a big challenge for Bud because he's never been at this weight. This is also a huge, like, Israil Madrimov has never faced anyone in the stratosphere of Bud Crawford. I think that's the elephant in the room, right? It's like the size and all that. That's one thing, but that experience though, that experience is everything. I mean, experience is everything. So that's why if Bud is the more athletic guy in the ring, it's pretty much a no-brainer what's going to happen in this fight. But we don't know. We just don't know, right? We got to see what happens in the ring, and we'll be watching. Anyway, that's all I got. If you like the video, bang off on that like button one time. Peace.